In today's video, I want to focus on mindset. I've already done a video where I talked about where focus goes, energy flows. If you can grasp this one concept and really pay attention to where you're putting your focus and your energy, you can profoundly change your life. Now, unfortunately, most people put their focus and their energy in the exact wrong place, and then they're surprised when their life is not what they want it to be because they keep directing their focus exactly where they don't want it to go. So here's what that looks like. That looks like paying attention to the news. That looks like complaining about your friends, your spouse, your boss, complaining about not having enough money or resources, complaining about your childhood, your parents, whatever it is. The more you complain about something, the more you focus your energy in that place, the more you're going to keep recreating things for you to complain about, for you to not like about your life. So where focus goes, energy flows. This is something that I think about all the time. And I'm sharing this not because I'm perfect at it. I'm sharing this because this is something I practice on a daily basis. And we live in an environment where we're inundated with information, we're inundated with news. We have all of these distractions that are coming at us 24/7. But as a part of adulting yourself, and I'm being serious here, as a part of adulting yourself, you have to really pay attention to where you're putting your focus and where you're putting your energy. So pay attention to how you feel in your body. If you start to focus your energy in a certain direction and you don't feel good, your body is telling you, I don't want to be there. So now you got to decide to be somewhere better. And oftentimes, like, let's say something has happened that you're really upset about, and it's not like you're not you're not a switch. You can't like magically become happy. But if you're in a state where you're upset about something or you're angry about something, instead of continuing to think thoughts of anger, which keep creating anger within your body, start to think about, okay, well, what is the next better feeling thought you can have? And think about that. Harley has decided to make an appearance. This is what I love about working from home, because I get to hang with my fur girls, as I like to call them. And so I'm going to share something that I used to do that I no longer do, and I haven't done in years and years. I used to complain about freaking everything. And I remember when I was going into theater school and I was living in LA and I was dating. Dating in LA is a trip. Anyone who lives in LA will tell you that. And so things would go sideways in whoever I was dating. It just never worked out. And so I would get on the phone with my friends. I would like call 10 different friends over the course of a day or a couple days. And I would tell every single person my sob story. And I would feel upset and angry and all the things. Yeah, I continued to not have a lot of success in dating. Then one day I had this insight that I just was not gonna, number one, I wasn't gonna date because it wasn't working out for me anyway. And number two, I was not gonna put my energy into complaining about the situation. So I stopped. And a few months after that, I actually ended up meeting my husband, and it was a beautiful relationship. Unfortunately, he passed away, but for the time that we were together, it was a really, really lovely experience. And I love him to this day, and I will always love him. But I started to pay attention to what was I doing. So this is a really, really important thing to grasp, because we are active participants in the situations in our life. And the situations that you don't like, you are participating in, and you are recreating or perpetuating through your thinking, through how you respond, through how you show up. And if you want to create a different situation, I like literally tell myself a new story. If I want to have a different situation in my relationship, in my friendships, in my business, in any area of my life, I start to tell myself a new story and really believe that story with all my heart. Totally, totally believe it. Here's here's another story to back up my point. I used to be friends with this woman who loved to complain. And our entire friendship, we lived in different cities. We still live in different cities. Our friendship consisted of us getting on the phone for an hour, maybe 2 hours at a time, just complaining about stuff, complaining about our something that happened at work, our husbands, with her, it was her kids or some situation. And it was always complain, complain, complain. Well, I started to work on myself. I started to really pay attention to how I was showing up in my life. And we would get on the phone and I just wouldn't complain about stuff because I didn't want to perpetuate that energy. Well, as luck would have it, that friendship went, it just went away. So here's the other thing that you want to pay attention to. Pay attention to who are the people in your life and how are they showing up. Are you surrounding yourself with people who are, go-getters, who are doers, who are dreamers, who, are really tapped in to, consciousness, or are really thinking about how to better themselves, how to better the world, how to help others? Or are you talking to people who just complain about their life, complain about the government, complain about, whatever things are going on? And I'm not saying to not be aware at all. Be aware, but also become aware of how much time, energy, and bandwidth, mental bandwidth, you give to certain things. Like, this is something that I struggle with because on the one hand, I like to bring awareness to certain subjects, certain things that are going on in the world. Like, I speak a lot about health. There are a lot of things in the food system and in the health system that are broken. So I share about that a lot, but I also like to share the solutions and offer up the solutions, because otherwise it's like a really disempowering place to be, to just listen to someone tell you about all the problems and not offer up anything that is a viable solution. So personally, I try to be really mindful of making sure that on the one hand, I educate, because there are these problems, these situations that exist in our 3D reality. But on the other hand, we also have agency, we have choice. We can decide to make decisions and make choices to create a different reality. I actually also have been, and I listen a lot to Esther and Abraham Hicks. I listen a lot to Dr. Joe Dispenza. I do a lot of meditation. And so what I've come to, sort of the way that I wrap my head around what is happening in this 3D reality, so to speak, is it's almost like what we get to witness, what we get to see that is happening in this 3D reality at this time is the culmination of all of this collective consciousness, focus, thinking in certain ways that are very, very damaging to individuals, to the environment, to other species. And we get to see the problem with all of these different things that we have set up and that we have participated in. But you can see it, and then at the same time, start to envision something better. Like, what is the next iteration of what we would like to see on this planet, what we want to see collectively as a species? And this is where I put my focus and my energy every single day. So if you're hearing this kind of information for the first time and you're like, well, Jules, that's all well and good, but my life sucks. I don't have a job. I don't have a partner. I don't feel good in my body. I'm struggling. You're telling me to just like imagine another future, and I can't get through my days. And I have been exactly where you are. I've been in a situation where my life totally sucked. I had a husband who passed away very, very suddenly. and it completely wrecked my world. I didn't have a job. My health fell apart. A lot of the people that I thought were my friends, they all disappeared. It's interesting how people disappear when you're going through challenging times. And not to say that everybody disappeared, but a lot of people disappeared, and it was very, very painful. And at that low point in my life, I started practicing gratitude. I started practicing gratitude. And I can tell you, I didn't feel that grateful for a lot of things that were happening in my life at that time. I was literally just grasping at straws to find something to be grateful for. I had a cat back then, so I was always grateful for my cat. I was grateful for her company because she was always with me. And I had some days I had to search really, really hard, but I started practicing gratitude. I had a gratitude journal that a coach of mine gave to me, gifted to me. And at the end of every single day, I would write down 3 things that happened over the course of the day that I was grateful for. And I would just take a moment to reflect. She was also the coach that got me introduced to tapping. And I had a lot of nervous system dysregulation. I had a lot of chronic pain that I lived with on a daily basis. And so I started doing tapping to help my body to start to regulate itself. You got to start somewhere. No matter what bottom you're in, if you don't start and envision something better for yourself, nothing is going to change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. A friend of mine used to say that all the time, and I didn't get it. Now I get it. It's like nothing will change if you don't do something differently than what you are currently doing. Your life will not change. You are the creator. You get to create your life however you want. Nowadays, when I practice gratitude, it's like it's easy for me to be in a state of gratitude from morning till night because I have so much in my life to be grateful for. And one of them is right back there. This is Harley. Harley, like for real. She's totally made herself comfortable. But I am like swimming in gratitude. I am so grateful for my life, for my relationships, for my friendships, for my home, for my dogs, for my clients, for my business, for all of the things in my life that I am so, so grateful for. Um, for for even like sometimes I'll be out on a bike ride or out for a walk and I'll just look at the trees and I'll notice the sun and I'll look at the flowers and my mind is just like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Oh, look at the sky, look at the trees. You know, it's just being in that state because if you want to attract more goodness into your life, you actually have to be in that resonant state to attract it. We're energy beings. We are energy beings, and the universe responds to the resonance that we're living in. So if we're living in a resonance of anger and misery and fear, we will be given more things to be angry about, to be fearful of, to be unhappy about, to complain about. That's the resonance we're in. That's what we're going to draw in. We're magnets. So if you want to be magnetizing abundance to you, if you want to magnetize great relationships and opportunities and business opportunities and better quality friendships and better quality relationships, start to allow yourself, number one, to get in a state of gratitude. Let yourself be grateful for whatever blessings you have in your life. And you have something, like if you're alive, that in itself is a blessing to be alive. But then start to really pay attention to how you show up for yourself on a daily basis. So being in that state of gratitude and then allowing yourself to experience that state of gratitude. So you're raising your vibration, you're raising your resonance, and that will allow more good things to come to you. So a lot of people have it completely backwards. They're like, well, I will feel good when, I will celebrate when X, Y, and Z shows up. And until then, I'm just going to be like how I am. And the way that the universe operates and the way that, you know, the law of resonance operates, is that when you start to feel grateful, when you are in appreciation of, when you start to tap into those states that you think you're going to feel, when you have everything it is that you desire, when you allow yourself to experience those states, that's when you start to actually bring that to you.